Hey, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Q, and today I'm going to do something that most casters and creators are too scared to do. Matter of fact, I don't know of anyone that's been crazy enough to put a list like this together yet. Because you see, over the last few days, we have seen a few of these like tier list videos and stuff, but those are like region-specific teams, right? Earlier this month, we did see Falloutt did tweet out an NA and EMEA Power 10 ranking, but I don't think anyone has been bold enough to do a global top 10. That's right. All 5 regions we're going to be considering ALGS play, other recent tournaments that these pros have been playing in, and we're kind of going to be taking into account a little bit how these teams have fared previously in international play, and we're going to come up with a global competitive Apex Legends Power 10 ranking. Come on, y'all. Let's go ahead and get down and do what it do. Now, I do want to start this off by saying that it is a power ranking, right? So it's obviously going to be subjective, but most importantly, it's really hard to kind of determine region to region, except for on LAN, which obviously we currently have a very small sample size of. And for a couple of these teams, we really don't have much of a sample base at all. But if you've seen my most recent video over here on the YouTube, I actually mentioned the parity that I think that there is in ALGS right now, not just in the deep region of NA, but even globally at the highest level. Now, I am expecting that this list will get some of y'all to feel some type of way along the way, so feel free to let me know your thoughts down in those comments once you've run through the entire list for me, all right? So let's not drag this thing on. Let's jump right on into it. In that number 10 spot is going to be a team that I do suspect a lot of the NA fan base would have quite a bit higher in their list. That's going to be Team Liquid. And look, hear me out. I know before you start tearing me apart in the comments saying Team Liquid is an S tier team in the deepest region. Look, I get it. They're sitting number 2 in NA right now. And all these creators that are doing these tier lists do have them in that S tier. But power rankings, they are a what have you done for me lately business, right? And they do definitely have the potential to move up in this list if we see them return to that like August, September form that we saw them in. But with this fallout that we've seen, this like fallback that we've seen in the last 2 months, 10th globally I think is actually very fair for them. Now in the number 9 spot, it's going to be my only South American team to make the list. And while admittedly I am a sucker for Godfire and Neelis, Team Singularity has won 4 individual sessions during the regular season out of SA. They're leading the ALGS in post-match series points, and they are 3rd in all regions in KP per game. Now, the reason they're sitting this low, even with all that, admittedly, is because of the 24th at Raleigh and the 39th in Stockholm that keeps them this low. We got to see them step it up on LAN. Once they do that, even with their history of underperforming previously, I'd probably feel better about moving them up in this list, all right? Now, number 8 feels really low to be putting the reigning champs, especially after just recently here on the channel talking about how we should be excited about the level of consistency that we've seen from Dark Zero recently. But it's kind of hard to overlook like the little bumpy transition that they had into the NA scene, including what was somewhat of a lackluster start during the ALGS season. Now, granted, in the last couple of months, we've seen them take a couple of top 3 placements in some B and C tier events, but they do only have 1 top 3 session thus far in the ALGS, and a wavy first couple of months after Raleigh, I think, does have to keep them down in the 8th slot for now. But with this current trajectory we've seen this last month or so, we could also definitely see them bumping up relatively soon. Now, in that number 7 spot is going to be my only APAC North pick, and that's going to be Fnatic, a team which I had actually called during the preseason to continue their dominance out of the region. And man, dominance it has been. Currently leading the ALGS with 5.94 kills per game. That's right. They average just about 2 squad wipes a game and currently sit in 4th in post-match series points in all regions. So like I feel a really strong showing from them at LAN could easily move them up into that top 5. Now at number 6, this is going to be a team that I would imagine a lot of the EU folk would probably have higher up in their top 10 list, and understandably so, being led by the best IGL arguably in the game right now. Pioneers definitely look scary, but it is very much like a swing big, miss big sort of team. You know what I mean? And until we start to see a wee bit more consistency from them, that's going to keep KCP just out of the top 5. Although 6th in the world really ain't that bad, you know? Now, this is going to be the part where we really start to kind of break into some baits as I start to break into that top 5. All right. Now, At the number 5 spot is going to be what I consider the Cowboys of Apex. You either love them or you hate them. That's going to be TSM. Unlike the Cowboys, though, you don't have to pull out the VHS player to watch the last time that they were dominant, you know? But TSM definitely doesn't quite have the grip on the competitive scene like they once did. And although Hal and company do sit atop the NA scene right now in ALGS, they haven't really shown any other sort of like consistency in those B and C tier tournaments they're competing in together to really have them placed higher than that. But for now, though, the CEO does stay in the top 5. Now, number 4, I'm sure is to spark some debate. That's going to be Furia. And while they have had a little bit of a rough start to ALGS, we have to remember that after Raleigh, they were clearly seen as like by far the most lethal team in ALGS. And even though they did have that slow start, like 3 bottom 10 finishes the split, with that being said, they've also had some really good showings outside of ALGS, a couple of invitational wins, along with a handful of second, third place finishes in those B and C tier tournaments as well since Raleigh. And again, this is a Power 10 ranking. This is a what have you done for me lately? And lately, it does seem like they've gotten their groove back. And while it's yet to be seen if the Fury of old has returned to like its final form, I don't know if I can currently keep them any lower than 4. You know what I mean? I actually almost put them in my top 3, but if you follow your boy on Twitter, you know I've been a fan of the chicken sandwich train coming out of the APAC South region for a hot minute. Shoot, I even told Falloutt that they were going to be a free agent like team to watch out for heading into this split, and they didn't disappoint. They have the second highest post-match series points in the ALGS, second highest KP per game average, and the most lethal team on World's Edge by like quite a bit. While it is a team that just recently got together just a few months ago, they've seemingly only gotten better with time this split, even if it doesn't look like that on the scoreboard. They definitely had a more impressive scoreboard the first half, but they've been looking pretty solid throughout the course of their 6 sessions. So, and not only that, but like with the synergy and like the experience of Strafing Flame and Player K bring from their past, I don't expect to see them fall off in the biggest stage. I'm like really interested to see what they do when it comes time for LAN for sure. Because we all know I love to say, I told you so, you know? Now in the number 2 spot, that's going to be Ascend. Out of the group of death in the EMEA region, I mean, Ascend, they've just shown a level of consistency that really hasn't been topped other than Singularity in that South American region. They won 2 sessions, they placed second in another, and they've never finished outside of the top 10 in the ALGS this split. They have the highest average KP and the average, like the highest best placement average as well in the region. So like, unsurprisingly, they're the top of EU. And you can't be surprised that after seeing a team of random EU pros win Esports Arena this past week, that an EU team would sit at that number 2 spot. And really the only reason they're in that number 2 spot is because they are second to the hottest team in competitive Apex right now. That's going to be the Guard. Look, I get it. They're not leading their region in ALGS, but their 3rd session really kind of hurts them on that scoreboard the way everything looks out. You know what I mean? Plus, they do also still have 2 sessions left, whereas most teams in the NA region only have 1. And like I said, this is a power rating. This is a what have you done for me lately business. The Guard have very quickly become one of those teams that you're always waiting to pop off, even when they're having a bad day on the scoreboard. They're led by Rambo, who's making his case as the best fragger in the game right now. I mean, technically he's 4 frags behind Hal, this ALGS split right now. But you also have to remember, again, Rambo has a whole other session to play. And while I know a lot of these top 3 teams don't really have much LAN experience, or even really a big sample size like some of the other teams, I think it's the consistency that they're showing at the highest levels right now, which give a couple of these teams some spot for some recognition until proven otherwise anyways. So go ahead, let me hear it. Tell me down in those comments below. I can guarantee you none of y'all are going to match that top 10 right there. So let me know where you agree, disagree, or where you think I'm sleeping, all right? And when you're done with those comments, if you did enjoy the video, hit that like button for me as well, because those 2 things are going to help me out the most with the algorithm over here on the new YouTube channel, all right? And hopefully it gets in front of more people. If you enjoyed the video, before we leave, one last thing I want to ask from you. If you want to keep up to date with more weekly Apex videos and even want to keep up with some watch parties heading into 2023, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. That way we can catch y'all right back here when those drop. All right? Till we catch y'all back here for the next one, man. Don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. All right, y'all? It's your boy Q, signing out.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be. You wanna be me, but you will never be as fresh